Okay, so the topic is vector. Now, before starting this topic, you have to know that there are two physical quantities, that is scalar quantity and the vector quantity. Now, what are scalar quantities? That have only magnitude and no direction. We know this, and examples are mass, work, energy. There are even more examples like power, pressure, density, volume, etc. And vector quantities have both magnitude and direction, and it will and obey the triangle law of vector addition, or equivalently the parallelogram law of vector addition. Now, what are these two laws? I will discuss later in the video. Now, for example, you can say that force, momentum, or acceleration, weight. There are many other examples. Now, if we come to general vectors and their notations, first of all, how you will denote a vector? You can say, if you see some uh, a vector which have its magnitude a, then you can denote it by a vector. This is a sign of vector, you give arrow, okay, like this. So if it have the magnitude of b, c, whatever you take the magnitude, then correspondingly you will give the vectors like this. Now here you see, basically vector quantities are represented like arrows. So you see, like this, we give arrows over here. Now this length of the arrows will represent your magnitude. Now how much length you want to make? Suppose here you see I have given the velocity of car, so whatever the length I am giving, that's going to be the magnitude, and the tip of the arrow represents the direction. So here your tip, here I'm you can see in this figure north, east, south, west. So here your tips will indicate the directions. So this is very simple to understand. Now there are two types of vectors, that is position and displacement vector. Now what are this position and displacement vector? Suppose you see that I have drawn a figure over here, and here it's indicating an xy plane. Over here you see that I have drawn a point over here, p point, and a q point over here. There are 2 points, okay, and the time interval over here is t1 and time interval over here is t2. Now when you draw a line from the origin and just till this point p, this will give your vector. What vector? Position vector. Position of which point? This point. Your object has moved from p to q. So when your object was at p point, then the object's position vector was r1 vector, and when it has moved in this q, position vector is r2 vector. Now when you meet these two, p and q, this will give your displacement vector, means your object has moved from p point to q point. Alright, so your position vectors are OP, this is your position vector, this is your second position vector. At time t1 this was, and at time t2 this was, and your displacement vector is PQ. Alright, now PQ, if you want to find out the interval, what's the time interval for PQ? That's T2 minus T1, mean your final minus initial time. And this one, PQ vector, if you want to say this, then OQ. OQ is your final position vector minus your initial position vector. So r2 vector minus r1 vector. Like this you can find out the displacement vector. Now why we need this position vector and displacement vectors? Basically we use this to describe the motion of an object in a plane. In this plane your object has moved from p to q, so this is actually used to describe the motion of the object. Now see, zero vector or null vector and its needs. Basically, we know that the number 0 is very important for real number operations. So similarly, your zero vector is also useful for your vector operations. All right. Now if I am considering that my two vector, a vector and b vector, and I'm saying that both are equal. Okay, so when you bring this b vector this side, it becomes a vector minus b vector, and this side you can write 0 vector. So your difference of two vector is giving you 0 vector. So this 0 vector is having 0 magnitude, but it does not have any direction. Alright, you cannot get any direction for this 0 vector. Now why this 0 vector is needed? I've told before that 0 vector is useful for vector operations. So why we actually use this, why it is needed. So you see, we know this, that a vector minus v vector is giving us 0 vector. So here it is playing a role. Now suppose I say that there are three vectors, okay, any three vectors. I am taking a vector plus b vector plus c vector, summation of them. Now that summation will give you 0 vector. Okay, if that is a closed figure, suppose I am drawing one a vector, b vector and c vector. This is my a vector, this is my b vector, this is my c vector. So here you see this is forming a closed figure. Okay, but here there you cannot draw any resultant vector, means you have suppose I say it is forming a complete figure, okay, closed figure. Okay, you cannot draw any resultant vector over here. Resultant vector is your, you cannot draw any displacement vector over here. All are your position vectors. Okay, so at that case your summation is going to be 0 vector, because your it is forming an closed figure. All right. Now second, you see, okay, so over here you see position vector of the point P is my OP vector. Now what is a position vector for this point O? That's my origin. That is the 0 vector. So position vector of this origin is the 0 vector. Okay. Now over here you see lambda and mu. These are my two real numbers. Okay. Now when I say that lambda multiplied with a vector plus mu multiplied with a vector, now what it will give you? If I say lambda is equals to minus mu, okay, then by putting this value of lambda over here, you get this one. When you cancel this two, you get 0 vector. Okay. Now displacement vector of stationary object is 0 vector. Okay, any stationary object, if you want to say what is the displacement vector of that, you can say it is a 0 vector. Acceleration vector of an object moving with constant velocity. If an object is moving with constant velocity, there is no change in velocity, then you can say that acceleration vector for that object is 0 vector. Now come to equality of vectors. Equality of vectors is very simple. If you see there is same magnitude and same direction, suppose you see I have given over here my a vector, b vector, c vector and d vector. Okay, and you see all are having same magnitude. Why same magnitude? Because you see the length of my arrows are all same. Okay, and same directions. Okay, these three are in same direction, so these three I have written a vector equals to b vector equals to c vector, but my d vector is in opposite direction with respect to these three vectors, so I have given over here a minus sign to this. Okay, addition of two vectors. Now when you want to add two vectors, okay, first you draw a vector and from that tip or arrowhead you draw another vector and like this, and then just draw a vector like this and that's going to be your r vector. What's this r vector? Resultant vector. Okay, that's your r vector. And what is this r vector equals to? It is equals to a vector plus b vector. All right. Now, if you want to find out the magnitude of this r vector, or rather a vector plus b vector, how will you find that? See, measure the length of r vector. Okay, so if you want to find out the magnitude, then you have to measure the length of this r vector, and when you have to find out the direction, you will be doing that by measuring the angle. Okay, this angle between r vector and a vector, or it can be b vector. Okay, now how to draw that? It's not like that you can only start with vector a. You can also start with vector b. Okay, you can also start with vector b. So when you start with vector b, like this, you draw the vector. Okay, and then this is my first. Okay, first you draw this one, then you draw this, and after that, by meeting this two, you get the resultant vector. So this vector I started from b. Okay, and previous which I had drawn, that I started from a vector. So this I started from my b vector, and after that you add this two, what you get? B vector plus a vector. Now previously I have drawn uh, and it we got this one, and here we got this one. So if you start from a vector, you got this one, and when you start from b vector, you got this one. So you see both are having, sorry, here will be vector signs. Okay, now when you see these two are, these two are parallel to each other, and lengths and directions are also same. Okay, see, their lengths are same as well as their directions are same. Okay, so it doesn't matter whether you draw from a, you start from a, or you start from b, as this diagram, you get the same thing. Now a vector plus b vector is equal to b vector plus a vector, so this is showing that it is commutative. Alright, now here is a short note that the magnitude of the sum of two vectors depend upon the angle between the vector. Okay, so okay, now I will add two vectors. Okay, but I will change the angle between them but magnitude will remain unchanged. Okay, now when I'll do that, it can be done in different way. Suppose it's your a, it's your b, and it's your r. Okay, a, b, and r. Similarly, you will keep the magnitude unchanged. Mean this magnitude, you will keep the same magnitude again, and b. Okay, now b like this I'm keeping, and my r. So here you see I have changed the angle, but your magnitudes are same. You can do in another way. A, my b, and this is my R. Okay, and in many different ways you can do this. Now you have to see one thing, that your R is maximum when your A vector is parallel to your B vector. Means at this condition, you see your A vector is parallel to B vector, but at that condition your R vector is maximum. Okay, and the angle between A and B is 0 degree. Alright, it is 0 degree, and the magnitude of R is A plus B. Okay, because as you see, your R is maximum for this case. When your R is going to be minimum, when your angle between A and B is going to be 180. At that condition your R is going to be minimum. Okay, your magnitude. Minimum. Okay, now it can be like minimum means what? A minus B. Okay, or it can be B minus A. When it is going to be A minus B when your A vector is greater than your B vector, and when it is going to be B minus A when your B vector is greater than your A vector. Okay, so your magnitude of R is going to lie between your A plus B and your A minus B, because this is your maximum value and this is your minimum value. So it is going to lie between these two. Now you have to keep one thing in mind, that this you are doing, you are, because they are having same magnitude. Okay, but you cannot do this. Okay, means two vectors of different magnitude cannot be added to get 0 resultant. So this you have to keep it in your mind, that two vectors which will have different magnitudes, that cannot be added to get a 0 resultant. Now addition of more than two vectors. So when you are adding more than two vectors, at that time what you are going to do, first suppose you give a vector like this. Okay, this is your A vector, and you give a vector like this, this is your B vector. Okay, now you have one more vector, that's your C vector like this, and your D vector like this. Okay, and I'm completing this by giving a R, that is my resultant vector. Okay, now you see, now how you're going to find the sum of it. See, first you will add this A vector and B vector by the principle of the triangle law. triangle law of vector addition, which you have read already. Okay, so if you give this, it's your, name it something, you name it E vector. Okay, now you find this resultant. So now as you are only considering A vector and B vector, so your resultant vector is E vector. Okay, now you find out E vector. After you get E vector, you give E vector and C vector to vector and find out this one. Okay, your F vector. And after you get F vector, when you do when you take this two vector, E vector and C vector, then by the triangle law, this is your triangle in the second case, then your F vector is the resultant vector. Okay, and after that you take the third triangle. Here you see your two vectors is going to be F vector and D vector, and your resultant vector is going to be R vector. So finally you get your R vector. Okay, so your R vector will give you A vector plus B vector plus C vector plus D vector. How you are getting this? Because E vector is going to be A plus B vector, isn't it? Now when you do this two, you get F vector, which is equals to A vector plus B vector plus C vector, and when you do this one and this one, you get over here A vector plus B vector plus C vector plus D vector. Okay, it's not necessary that you draw this E and F vector. You can just draw the four vectors in succession. Okay, and finally you get this R. So it's not compulsory for you that you have to draw this E and F vector. Okay, it's not necessary that you add the vector in the above order like the way you did it in this. Okay, you can do it another way, like this is my another way. And here you see, first of all you can first add this C vector with your A vector. Okay, see, this I am naming it as R prime, as the first one was R, so which I drawn for the first figure. Here you see, first I add this two, so my A vector plus C vector. Okay, then D and B. So here you have D and B, just add D and B and you get the sum as this. Now we can see that this is similar to this one, your A plus B plus C plus D is similar to your A plus C plus D plus B. So we can say the sum of these vectors is associative. Okay. Now here I have written a note. You can see this note, that if three or more vectors themselves complete a triangle or a polygon, then their sum vector cannot be drawn. You cannot draw this resultant vector, which R vector. Okay, you cannot draw this. It means that the sum of this vector is 0. Okay. Now here you see, now coming to the analytic method of vector addition. Okay, now over here I was discussing this earlier also when I was saying about vector quantities. I was telling that it should obey the triangle law of vector addition. Now we will see what is the triangle law of vector addition. Okay, now you see, this law states that if two vectors are represented Okay, if two vectors are represented in magnitude and direction by the two sides of a triangle taken in the same order, then their resultant is represented by the third side of the triangle taken in the opposite order. Okay, now see in this diagram that you have two vectors, a vector, b vector, okay, and you can represent that by the two sides of the triangle. Okay, then their resultant of this a vector and b vector is going to be the third side of the triangle. All right, this is your triangle law of vector addition. Now by this law you can find the magnitude of this resultant vector r. How you're going to find out the magnitude for the resultant vector r? Now you see, first you have to draw the perpendicular, okay, perpendicular from this q, and then join this, it will be PE, okay. After this, see, for the triangle OQE, okay, OQE, for this triangle if you find out, you see, hypotenuse equals to my base perpendicular square. Okay, now you see, my OE is OP plus PE. So here you can write OP plus PE, okay, whole square plus QE whole square. Now break this. Okay, now you see, your PE and your QE equals to your, see in this diagram, PE and QE. If you see for this triangle, for your triangle PEQ, here you see your PQ square is going to be PE square plus QE square. So for this, your PE square and QE square you can substitute by PQ square, okay. Now for triangle, for the same triangle PEQ, okay, find out cos theta for this, your cos theta P by PQ, so PE by PQ. So you can write your PE equals to PQ cos theta. So you can substitute over here in place of PE, OP square plus PQ square plus 2OP PQ cos theta. Alright, now what you had in this side, OQ square. So now you see, your OQ is R, okay. So you can write R square, okay. OP is your A, so you can write A square. PQ is your B, so B square plus 2AB cos theta. So your R is going to be okay. Now this is for your magnitude. You can find out the direction. This is for your magnitude. You can find out the direction, that is tan alpha, okay. Tan alpha, see, here you have alpha. If you want to find out the direction, rather you will find out see alpha, okay. Now alpha is tan alpha. So tan alpha is going to be what? See, QE by OQ. Okay. So QE by OE. QE by OE. So QE, OE you can write by OP plus PE. This OP plus PE. Okay. So you get this. Okay. Now see, we know that this OP equals to, this is equals to A and this is equals to B cos theta. Okay, we know this, but we don't know what is the value for QE. So let us find out the value for QE. You see, we can find out from QE from this triangle. So if I want to find out QE, I have to consider something which will include this side. Suppose if I consider sine theta, it will include QE plus PQ. It will include PQ because we can actually name QE. QE we can find out. PQ we can actually name B. Okay, B, QE by B. So it's better to do it in terms of sine theta. Okay, because we can put B for this. Now QE, so my QE is going to be PQ sine theta, which is B sine theta. So after you put the values, you have B sine theta by A plus B cos theta. So you get the, you can tan alpha, you get the tan alpha, and you can find out the direction from this one and magnitude from this one. Okay. The next law is parallelogram law of vector addition. What this law states that if you see, the law states if two vectors are represented in magnitude and direction by the two adjacent sides of the parallelogram. You see, my two vectors are the two adjacent sides of the parallelogram. Then their resultant is represented in magnitude and direction by the diagonal of the parallelogram. Resultant of this A vector and this B vector is the R vector, which is the diagonal. Okay, diagonal of this parallelogram, right? So for this, you can find out the magnitude and direction by the triangle law of vector addition, the way we did it in triangle law of vector addition. You just need to draw a perpendicular from here. Okay, and you see it's almost similar to your triangle law. Okay, it is similar to your triangle law of vector addition, and you, if this is your B vector, this is also your B vector. Okay, sorry, not this one, this one, B vector. Okay, now this is your triangle law of vector addition. So your R is going to be root over of A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta, and your direction you can find out from this formula. So it's similar to your what? Triangle law of vector addition. Now you have to see there are certain special cases. Okay, what are the special cases? If you say my A vector and B vector, they are in same direction. If they are in same direction, okay, if they are in same direction, that means your theta is going to be 0. All right, and if your theta is 0, so what is going to be your R? If you put a square plus b square plus 2ab and your theta is 0, mean cos theta equals to 0. Alright, that means 1. So your a square plus b square plus 2ab. Okay, and here you can write a plus b. Okay, now tan alpha, what was the formula? B sin theta. Sin theta equals to 0. So b into 0, and a plus cos theta is 1. So a plus 1, and this is going to be 0. So your alpha is 0. Okay. So your resultant vector is equals to the magnitude of the vectors, two vectors. Okay. Now you can do for the next case, that is when your two vectors are at 90° to each other. Okay, for this your theta is going to be 90°. If your theta is 90°, then your a square plus b square plus 2ab cos 90, what is your cos 90? It's 0. So it's going to be a square plus b square. And what about your tan alpha? B sin 90° by a plus b, cos 90°. So this is 0 and this is your 1. So b by a. Okay. Now the last case, two vectors are in opposite direction. Opposite direction means what? If your a vector is in some direction, your b vector is going to be in other direction. Alright, it's going to be in other direction. So you can say that theta is equals to 180° for this. So your let me do this. Okay, now this is for your 180°. So r is going to be a square plus b square plus 2ab. What's your cos theta? It's -1. So you write over here minus, and you get root over of a minus b whole square, which you can write a minus b. Okay. Alright, now tan alpha, it's your b sine 180° by a plus b cos 180°. So ultimately you see over here you get 0. Okay, so your magnitude of resultant vector is maximum when your a vector and b vector was in same direction, and it's minimum when they are in opposite direction. Okay, you get 0 for that.